Hello, friends. My name is Abhay Kumar, and I am an independent journalist working in New Delhi. And today is very a special day. Countercurrents.org has completed 22nd year of its establishment. It is vibrant, it is working, and it continues to publish stories across the country, across the globe on a daily basis. And today, the editor of countercurrents.org, Binu Mathew, has agreed to share his experience with countercurrents. So, without much formality, Binu sir, I welcome you. And on behalf of all your readers and all your writers, I congratulate you for doing this wonderful work and setting an example for vibrant, independent, free, and grassroots media. But the first questions I would be asking is that we know a bit about the history of countercurrents that on 27th of March 2002, after the Gujarat riots or Gujarat communal violence, Countercurrent was published because of the emergency situations in this country. So many young journalists, young people may not be knowing in great detail about the journey of the Countercurrent. So we would be very happy to know from your mouth the journey of Countercurrent in this 2 decades. Binu sir.
Thank you, Abhay, for inviting me to this platform. We've been friends for, I think over a decade. You've been writing for Countercurrents for over a decade. Although we never met personally, we have been contacting on phone, mail. It's you've been a fantastic journalist, and I'm very happy to to talk to you on the journey of Countercurrents. Uh, Actually, the journey of counterculture started much before March 27. It was only the day that the first article was published. The article was by uh, famous Malayali feminist literature activist Sarah Joseph called "The Womb and the Soul." It's about political parties, religions use women. Uh, Politicizing women for their nefarious, how women's womb are are uh, uh, are being used to create violence, and they have been used in many ways to create violence, commit violence upon women. All these kinds of. This is a translation of an article from Malayalam Weekly. That's the first article that was published. That's published in on March 27, 2002. But the journey started much before that. Uh, Actually, recently I checked my, my when Countercurrents, the domain was registered. Accidentally, it was registered on 9/11/2001. 9/11, this is a famous 9/11. On that day, we registered. So I wanted to do something, very important. Marx once said, philosophers have always been uh, interpreting the world. The thing is to change it. So I've been doing journalism for several years. So the kind of journalism that I was doing, I was not satisfied. It's the kind of journalism a routine thing. It's kind of a status quo. And also mainstream journalism, as you know, is not. It's mostly as they say, whatever you publish is publicity. What is not published is news. The editor don't want to publish his news. So most of the journalism in mainstream media is publicity material. So I wanted to change the word. For that, I wanted to start a magazine, in Malayalam magazine, but it was a too arduous a job. Then internet came along, so we had. It was a revolutionary platform, actually, internet, when it came along. It gave a lot of opportunity for independent voices to be heard from across the world. uh, I particularly remember the website called Reputed on Intifada. It was from Palestine. It's done from USA by Ali Abinima and his team. It's a revelation for me. The voices coming from inside Palestine, uh, directly from the people who are suffering their life, sharing their life, was a very revelation for me. And also there was the website called Znet, uh, done by Michael Albert and team. There, the great writers like Noam Chomsky used to publish regularly. So it was uh, a kind of a blog. The concept of blog was not there then, but it was just emerging. So the concept of personal sharing, personal experience, and sharing, insightful, thoughtful articles that are not published in mainstream media. So it was a major breakthrough then. Even though then there was no Facebook, Twitter, or anything like the social media, Instagram, there was no less opportunity for us for the kind of first website editors. No, didn't have much opportunity to share our work through social media platforms, but it got a lot of attention from interested readers, and it got a lot of readership from across the world, all the pioneering websites. But right now I think it has completely changed. Now the social media platform like Facebook, Twitter, actually Twitter is much better, Instagram, they all share content that are uh, conducive to their political affiliations, their interests. So even though my Countercurrents Facebook page has 80,000 likes and followers, the actual reach of articles that we post on Facebook is only 5,000 a month. It's very disturbing. So there is no point in having having these kind of all these social media, all these big names. So we say that internet has become more free, and there is more people on the internet. There is more free flow of information. Actually, what they have done with these all these monopolization of internet, the Google, Facebook, Twitter, and all this monopolize the internet, and they have cutted the freedom of the editors and the independent journalists to reach out to the readers. So, what Countercurrents is actually now following is actually mm, the old form of sharing content through newsletter. That is how we reach most of our readers. So, anyone who is watching this interview would like to connect to Countercurrents, do subscribe to our newsletter so you will get a daily bulletin every day. And also, I would like to say one thing about the origin of Countercurrents. It was uh, conceptualized by me, but it was designed by Rasi Muhammad, my friend. Uh, he was a great designer. He designed on Photoshop, and my friend Ajit Kumar converted into HTML form. Then there was no WordPress blog or anything like that. So we only had this HTML web pages. So Ajit Kumar created the HTML, and I became the editor. So it is interesting to note now that at this uh, the situation, a Muslim designed the website, a Hindu, converted into HTML, and a Christian edited the website. Even though we don't, we are not practitioners of these reasons. By birth, we are all these things. We are not saying that we are Christian, Hindu, Muslims. We are not all. we all don't subscribe to these religious identities. But for the sake of saying it, it is that way. There is some kind of an interfaith rupture between the founders of Countercurrents. And also, I would like to remember great supporters of Countercurrents who have passed away. KP Shashi, he believed in Countercurrents more than I do. He was a great, supporter, and he saw the value of Countercurrents more than me. And also, John Scales Saveri from Denmark, who passed away recently. He was also a great supporter of Countercurrents, and also Admiral Ramdas, who passed away the other day. He was also a great supporter of Countercurrents. So I would like to pay tribute to all these people who have been supporting Countercurrents for all these years. Thank you.
Binu sir, you get stories in large number across the country, across the globe. How difficult it is for you to edit it and put it on a daily basis? What is your routine? How do you manage it?
Yeah, I think nobody else can do Countercurrents except Binu Mathew. It's because the kind of experience that I earned for 22 years. Uh, so, uh, I get like 20 articles a day from across the world, from all parts of the world, from all continents. I get articles. So, oh, I start my work by 8 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the morning, and uh, what I publish is it actually only those articles which have some insights. As I said before, uh, the main focus I think is that whether this article can change the world in one way, in a little bit, 1 inch, 1 centimeter. If that is going that way, I will publish that article. If it is not going to change the world in a half a centimeter, it's going to reverse the world from the trajectory that Countercurrents as a platform has its vision. It's not changing. It's not going to change the world for a better world. I would not publish it. That is my thumb rule of selecting a story. So that is the main criteria for selecting a story. And then I know a lot of writers who writes regularly for Countercurrent. So I know the kind of uh, where their mode of thinking, what they would be writing. And I have a from experience I have an idea how they would be writing, what kind of a content they would be writing. I know I trust them, and of course, I go through the article, uh, and if there is some spelling mistake, some copy editing, but I don't generally, curtail the political uh, 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 vision of the author. I don't, and generally there are some cases where I have to put a hard stand, take a hard stand, and to correct the even the regular writers to take a hard stand and remind them that this is not the political direction that Countercurrents is taking forward. Otherwise, I don't tamper with the political ideology or political vision of the author. Uh, and I get 20 articles as a normally I publish 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, up to 20 articles I publish sometimes. So special days, maybe some 20 articles I will be publishing. So I start at 8 and then work up to 12 and then take a rest, and then after 4 o'clock I work up to 7, 8, 7 o'clock, up to 7 o'clock. Then by 7 o'clock I will be sending out the newsletter. That's how I my routine of a day.
Sir, many writers who do not get a space elsewhere, even at the so-called progressive media houses, they find expression at countercurrents.org. So, why there is so much, I think, ideological diversity there. Do you really support it? Because we find our friends, political friends, who would be very, what should I say, very conservative to accept the views of the others. What has made you become so large hearted?
Yeah, the uh, you know, uh, our, like many of the websites that have come up recently, uh, their vision, I would say, they are very narrow. They tend to do with politics only, day-to-day politics. Uh, what politicians do, what politics, what this thing that do. But there are many issues that we all every day ignore, like environment, climate change, uh, the patriarchy, caste issues. Uh, uh, there are so many issues. There are so what I as an editor try to do is that give space to multiple voices uh, uh, in the countercurrent. So when one takes a day's newsletter, so you get a broad uh, spectrum of ideas. Uh, what I said earlier, you know, what I am trying to do is to change the world. So there should be ideas to change. We need ideas. Only ideas can change the world. So I try to give people space to people who have ideas, and that too not too narrow, like the day-to-day politics of our nation or the world. So a lot of ideas come up. My friend Satyasagar, he's a very senior journalist. He says that Countercurrents is the most eclectic website in the world. The broad spectrum of ideas that is coming through Countercurrents is very eclectic. That is, that's a very nice word I heard from one of my friends, that I'm very happy and proud about it.
Sir, Indian democracy is said to be the largest one, and but when we look at our national media, we find that its scope is very narrow in nature. I think they are mostly busy with writing about the stories of the success of the establishment. So, do you feel disappointed that our journalists, particularly those who are working with the mainstream media, they do not reflect the diversity of this country?
Yeah, that's what I just said. The mainstream media, not just mainstream media, even the so-called alternative media on the internet also, started as a counter to mainstream media on the internet also. Follow very narrow, as I said, very narrow stream of thoughts. Narrow vision of about our country, about the world. Uh, that is a problem with the base. That is a problem with our journalism. That I would say that is a problem of our journalism. We have to see the world in a broader way, much more broader way, with a vision to change the world for the better, for our children and our grandchildren and their children. So, and also, protecting the earth also, the environment also. Uh, so we should have a very broad vision. I'm very sad to see this kind of broad vision lacking in all kind of media in Indian media scale.
Sir, do you think that our national media is largely responsible for protecting a status quo, caste hierarchy, and promoting at the same time religious division, communal division?
Yes, of course. What is the there is no actually there is no independent media in India right now. Sadly, that is a fact. The last independent editor that we had in India was R. Rajagopal of Telegraph. He used to give bold, to take bold, bold positions and give strong statements through his headlines. But he was, recently, like 3 4 months back, he was given a position. He was taken out of his editorship and given a position called editor. Even nobody knows what it means being an editor at large. So that's how that was the last independent voice of, and also we saw NDTV. There was Ravish Kumar was there. He was kicked out by the Adani takeover, and so many other independent media persons were kicked out. There is no, but also, and also about other political media, as I said, the vision of the journalist in India generally is very narrow. Even the independent journalists, that also they only deal with politics and corruption and all this all kind of status quo politics. That is one thing, and also about in the we know that after 2014, it's a very uh, uh, sad state of affairs in India media scape. Uh, Most of the media houses have been, compromised. Editors were kicked out. They were given the lure of advertisement. So most of the media houses, they are, most of the even the electoral board issue came out. You know, One newspaper in Kerala gave it a one column headline in the front page, so that they will compromise, or these editorials being infiltrated by Hindutva elements. So in a way, media houses in India, media in general is completely compromised. Doesn't have any spine also, and also if we look at the 9 o'clock debates, on they are not they are spewing venom, hatred and venom from the TV screens. So it's polluting actually. It's journalism should be, it should be at least, even if it's not going to change the world, at least it should be informative. It's not giving, even that role is not also not being played by the mainstream media. They are spewing venom, hatred, instigating people to do go and lynch people. So these many of the mainstream anchors are acting like lynch instigators. They are being part of the arm of the Hindutva militia.
Sir, you walk from Kerala, the southern state of India, and our constitution is based on the principle of federalism. We talk about unity and diversity, India being union of states. So do you feel disappointed that the stories, particularly from the south, from the northeast, uh, from the states which are far away from New Delhi, they are not properly covered by our journalists, or they pay very little attention to their issues?
Yeah, I think that is largely true. But here in Kerala, we have a very strong media scape. A lot of newspapers, most of the people read newspapers, watch TV. Even though that's not informing them, not much, not enough, not much, but they do. At least they are politically, they are at least aware what is happening in politics and what who is doing what kind of corruption and all these things. I don't think, I don't say that it is good journalism, but it's at least a bearable kind of journalism. That is journalists here in Kerala do. I generally from New Delhi perspective, the New Delhi journalists think that they carry the weight of all the country on their head, uh, and their responsibility is to save India. So that's kind of a perspective that New Delhi-based journalists have, and they see only New Delhi and the and the people. doing the power brokering and the Indraprastha. That is what they are covering.
Countercurrent has been very closely observing the Palestinian issue. And as far as international relations is concerned, world politics is concerned, you have always given priority to those issues. So, what is your view on that? Do you think that the readers have not been properly informed by our mainstream media? Otherwise, more solidarity could have gone to the Palestinian people, and the government might have been under pressure to speak the truth, to speak justice.
Yeah, of course. I think the Palestine issue is almost non-existent in Indian mainstream media. Uh, and also for countercurrents, we've been covering Palestine issue from its very beginning itself. From in 2003, Rachel Corrie was uh, killed in Gaza itself when she was trying to prevent the bulldozing of a house of a Palestinian. She was run over by a bulldozer. The bulldozer raj of for India that is happening now actually started in Palestine. They used to bulldoze the houses of the enemies of Israel or whoever stood against the apartheid they are practicing. And we've been covering Palestine for so long, so many. There is at least four wars have been attack on Gaza since countercurrent started, and then there was attack on Lebanon was there. We all covered all these issues from multiple angles, from various writers from inside Palestine and from across the world, scholars from across the world wrote about it. One sad fact is that when we look at the the coverage of the sad fact is that the uh, the ma- the the narrative of the Palestine issue is being controlled by the West. You take Reuters, AFP, AP, all these news agencies cover Palestine from the perspective of the Western narrative, that is USA, Britain, and Israel. Uh, Only recently that, like 10, 15 years ago, Al Jazeera came up. Then only this we started to hear another voice of Palestine. So even when the Reuters reports about Palestine, they write they diligently write that the Islamist militant Hamas group. No, Hamas is not only Islamist militant. They are Palestinian, freedom fighters. No, they are not Islamists. They are freedom fighters of Palestine. They fight for freedom, and uh, all the youngsters in Palestine who throw stones, they are freedom fighters. Palestine is the last colonial occupied outpost in the world. There's an outpost of the West, of the USA, Britain, and the whole Western hegemony. That is their so it's very important that this colonial occupation of Palestine has to be removed, and it needs solidarity from across the world. And Countercurrents is giving all our solidarity for the cause of Palestine. I think soon Palestine will see. It's actually it's not just colonialism; it's also apartheid also. If you go into details of the way Palestinians are treated in the West Bank, Gaza, and even inside Israel, you will understand that it's not colonialism, just colonialism. It's apartheid also. It's an apartheid country. So the apartheid and colonialism has to be removed, and the whole world and the whole media has to give support diligently, consistently to the Palestinian freedom fighters.
In India, when Palestine and this Israeli conflicts were going on, I think our news channels, our media houses, they were producing content after content which were based on Islamophobic prejudice.
Yeah, this actually, uh, uh, India may be the most Islamophobic country in the world. You know, uh, the main narrative of the so-called Hindutva element is Islamophobia. Uh, Whatever they say, whatever they do, recently, you know, everywhere you look, there is only Islamophobia. So when you look at Palestine, they can, as I said, from the Reuters, how the way Reuters write, they don't think they see Palestinian have a right to exist, Palestinians have a right to resist, which is granted by UN. So it's an inalienable rights of occupied people to resist occupiers. But the Reuters and the mainstream narrative is that they are just Islamic militants. So that is wrong. That kind of a narrative that being built by the West and is fed into the most Islamophobic country in the world, India, where these Islamophobes take it up, lap it up, and spread it thousand Hydra model here in India. That is what is happening in India.
We have seen that a large number of people, Adivasis, activists, they have been protesting against the attack on jungles and forests in Chhattisgarh. Hasdev forest is the example. So why our media is only praising the development model, but it is not ready to look at the dark side of the so-called development and madness about growth? Why environmental protections, climate change, these issues do not figure in our media?
On the 13th of this month, just 2 weeks back, Countercurrents published a People's Manifesto for Ecological Democracy. Uh, our first demand is that uh, Adivasis should be declared as the original dwellers of India, original inhabitants of India. They are the indigenous people, they are the original inhabitants of India. They are the rightful owners of this land. All others are migrants. They are the original dwellers of the land. So the whole world, the government should uh, should apologize to people, to Adivasis and Dalits for all the atrocities they have committed on Adivasis and Dalits for all these years. That was what our first demand. That has to be done. Adivasis are the original dwellers, after the British government and then the Indian government made Adivasis the squatters. They were the original owners of the forest, the protectors of the forest, and they were made squatters and were driven out from the forest. And after uh, uh, the mining companies find out minerals are lying under the forest, they're trying to driving out Adivasis from the forest, their villages. There being loads of atrocities are done on Adivasis. So this has to stop. So another thing about problem with India is that India, like Modi says, we will become a developed nation by so and so years. So it's all about development and becoming another America. Uh, is the paradigm of development in India. That has to change. We have to live in harmony with nature in like Gandhiji has said, everyone according to their need, only not their greed. So that should be the development model that we should be following. So the greed for natural resources, it has to stop, and we have to leave in harmony with nature, within the limits of the world. We do not have you know we have now about 7 billion people in the world, uh, but uh, if the consumption of level of everybody goes up to the consumption level of America, we may need two and a half the resources of two and a half size of the earth to live the lifestyle of American. So we have to live within the limits. So America has to change. We have to change. So when countercurrents started in 2002, global warming was a issue that is coming forward. So when then the level of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere was 370 ppm. Now it is 426 ppm. It's more than 50 ppm. It has grown in 22 years. So if we also consider the non other greenhouse gases like methane, nitrous oxide, or into account, it is almost 5,000 ppm of greenhouse gases gas in the atmosphere. So it's like billions and millions of years ago. It's the state of a world many millions of years ago. So if I think we are locked in for a huge, environmental calamity. Like, many of the fossil cities will be underwater, and there will be huge drought, huge floods. And these are going to kill a large section of the humanity. So, if we have to save our earth, save our children, save our grandchildren, we have to this madness of we have to stop this madness of this growth, this madness of exploiting our natural resources. So we have to put a stop and live in harmony with nature. That's the only solution for us to save this earth and save ourselves, save our children, save our grandchildren.
Binu sir, the corporate forces, the rich people are not taking over the resources of the country, but they are also controlling media and they are owning it. So, do you see that this is a big challenge to media and also the also democracy of this country? And what is the way out?
Yeah, the big media. Recently, I saw a graphic. In India mediascape, a large section of the media houses are, now controlled by Ambani, and then some other media houses. In a 10, 15 people control all the media houses in India. And also the diversity, as you said, the diversity. There are no Dalits, no Muslims, no OBC in the newsroom. So there is no diversity, only monopoly capital that is controlling the mediascape. They are putting their narrative, their greed and ambition to grow and exploit the world as much as possible to multiply their world. That is what is actually happening. The multiplying they have like Ambani and Adani have made world enough to thousands of generations of their family, but they want more. So that is a growth model. So at the same time, ordinary people are becoming poorer and poorer. That's kind of a huge wealth inequality also is happening. So it's happening in the mediascape also. So what you have to do is that do start your own media spaces like Countercurrents. Start your own. Start a YouTube channel like Abhay is doing. So do something small in a small way. There is a saying. It's not. It's not big people. It's not. It's small people doing small things in small places that is actually change the world. Actually changing the world, and that's the only way to change the world.
Binu sir, there is a dilemma that if you get good salary from corporate media, you do not write critical stories, and when you want to write critical stories, you do not have money to survive. So, how to deal with this difficult situation? From your experience, if you want to say something.
Yeah, my experience is that when I started Countercurrents, I had a steady job in a corporate house, corporate media house. So with that salary, I could start Countercurrents and survive for 15 years. You know, these people they didn't know that I was running a parallel website like Countercurrents for 15 years. Then one day they came to know, and then they said that it's a conflict of interest. You are doing moonlighting. You have to quit. So I quit. So by then I had made a lot of contacts. Countercurrents has a good goodwill among the people. They were willing to support. So uh, Countercurrents actually is not accepting any advertisement. No advertisement. Never we have accepted any advertisement so far on this website. So it's only by the goodwill of the people. It's like crowdfunding. Only by the goodwill of the people that we are Countercurrency surviving. So the question is, as you ask, I don't know. You will have to do first. You will have to do uh, some double work. You have to work double hard. When I started, I had to do a 8-hour job, uh, 6-hour night duty, and then come and sleep, and then wake up and do the counter editing, uh, and then go back and do the next night duty. And I had to do work double hard. When my this is very exhaustive. That I continued for 15 years. So I took a lot of extra effort to sustain Countercurrents. So I don't know actually how to I don't know whether that model is possible for everyone. So anyway, if you are getting a good salary, a good secure job, try to do something extra to change the world. That is the only possible way for us to change the world.
Binu sir, about social media, there are at least two views. One view says that the rise of the right wing government is largely supported and largely facilitated by the social media because they were able to use their IT cell. On the other hand, it is also argued that the marginalized sections is finding some voice on social media. So, what do you think? What is your view on social media? What is its strength and weakness?
Yeah, actually, I think I have answered this question before in the interview. Social media, uh, when it started, was a progressive space. It gave a lot of voice for people, marginalized people. Uh, but as we can see, at least in India, I don't know about what is happening with say Facebook and all in other countries, but at least in India, any post, any article that is critical of the present regime is not getting any traction on social media. They are curtailing the the reach of the post videos and all that sort of thing. They are controlling it. So like uh, they are controlling every media houses in the country. They are also controlling Facebook and Twitter in India also. That we have seen the summons they have given to Facebook and Twitter. They have been threatened to be close shop here. No, they are controlling here. They are controlling the social media here in India also.
Binu sir, when we look at Indian media, national Indian media, mainstream media, we find that the marginalized community, particularly Adivasis, are not there, and even Dalits are not in the in key positions. There may be a few Muslims here and there, but largely religious minorities are also excluded, particularly from the vernacular press. I think they may find some places here and there in English media. Women is also not there in large number in vernacular language, particularly Hindi and Urdu. And I don't know about southern India. So, would you give some suggestions, your insight, how to democratize media houses, how to help media reflect the social diversity?
Actually, this is also from one of the points from our manifesto. The oldest apartheid uh, in the world is actually the caste system. So the caste system is an apartheid system, and it is controlling every aspect of our life in India. So it's natural that Adivasis, Dalits, OBCs are not finding spaces in many of the mainstream spaces. Even sports, in sports, wrestling and all. Some OBCs are coming forward, but mostly in cricket, there are much OBC presence, Dalit presence. There's nothing. In media space also there is presence. So the fundamental thing is that we have to Ambedkar said, we have to annihilate caste. The caste system is always form of apartheid, and the apartheid system is playing in every aspect of Indian society, and that is also playing in the media scape also. So journalists. So what we can do is that uh, uh, what Dalits, Adivasis, and OBCs can do is that start something parallel. That is my experience. That's what I did. That is only I can say. But I don't know how to break this caste barrier of these monopoly media houses. I don't know. But one thing you can do, you can start your own small way. Start a YouTube channel, start a website, start a blog, start writing for Countercurrents. You can do all these things, so you can make your voices heard. So it's not that impossible like before, when only mainstream media was there. When they shut out the voices of they don't publish articles of even Kanjalaya's articles were not published. They stopped publishing. The Hindu stopped publishing. The Hindu stopped publishing Kanjalaya's articles. Uh, Many after he was attacked by after his articles, he just wrote me in the morning. Uh, uh, After being attacked by after his post Hindu India book become a that's a brilliant book that everybody should read it. Uh, he was attacked. He said many newspapers were not willing to publish. Then only Countercurrents came forward to publish it. He thanked me. So it is important for it's not that just that the Kanjayala was shut out from mainstream media, so he didn't have. It's not that he didn't have a space. We had Countercurrent. So there are so many other avenues now. So once in a while, once in only print media houses were there. Once they shut out one, throughout one columnist or writer, they didn't have any spaces. Now there are multiple spaces are there, so they can get it published. So we have to find spaces. You have to start writing, start creating blogs, start creating websites, start creating YouTube channels. So in that way, we should make our voices heard. Don't be disheartened. Fight hard. That's the only way.
Binu sir, now I have got just two questions because time is running out. 2024 general elections are going to be held within weeks. So, as a journalist, as an experienced journalist, as an editor, as a champion of the voices of the marginalized community, what would be your suggestions to young journalists who want to make an impact? And this is also linked to how your website that you edit, the countercurrents.org, is going to cover elections. How should elections should be covered in a democracy like India?
Countercurrents is not a is not a routine website. It's not. It doesn't cover daily routine news items. So we do commentaries. So some issues come up, there will be commentaries. That's all that we do about politics and all kinds of issues. That's our way of doing journalism. So that's not a routine. So we don't do election coverage and all these kinds of stuff. So what we do is that countercurrents never advocate anybody to vote for any particular party. Never ever we advocated people. So we are not going to advocate anyone to advocate to vote for this party or that party. We are not going to do that. But we would try. We will keep exposing the kind of vices, the kind of the darkness that our country is falling into, the kind of democracy that is being destroyed, the kind of threat to our constitution that is happening right now. Uh, that we will keep pointing out, and then people can make an informed choice. That's what we are doing. That's what Countercurrents will be doing for this election.
Binu sir, Countercurrent has worked for 22nd years. I think it is a history in independent India. I think you will be remembered and your contribution will be remembered in gold letter. But now difficult situation is still not over. I think I know that you also face a lot of difficulty in running and continuing Countercurrents. So what do you see the future challenges for you as an editor and your karma of Countercurrent? What are the challenges ahead for you?
Yeah, Countercurrents is more or less the main problem is that to uh, running Countercurrents, as long as I am here, there is not a problem. But if I go, if I'm no more tomorrow, my passports are with my friends, so anybody can come forward. Even you can come forward and start editing Countercurrents. So that's the choice. That is your choice. And also, finding the crowdfunding is a big challenge. To every day to raise funds to run Countercurrents is a big challenge. So it's very difficult for independent media houses. So as I said, we don't have to accept advertisements, corporate funding, or CSR funding, or anything like that. So it's very difficult to sustain a website from only the contributions of our readers. It's very challenging job, and I am ready to take this challenge and to keep this journey forward.
Friends, we were listening to the editor of the countercurrents.org. Countercurrents news portal has completed 22nd year of its establishment. Sir, it has been a great experience listening to you, and you remain and you work as an inspiration for many young journalists and independent journalists in this country. Sir, thank you very much for sparing time and talking with us.
Thank you, Abhay, for inviting me to this conversation and getting me into your YouTube channel and introducing me to a larger, wider audience of your YouTube channel and your audience. Thank you very much. It's indeed a
Thank you.
pleasure. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.